Dragon Riders, Kaze no Kaeru, by Night Dragon 0. Firestorm's perspective. Hey, where are we going anyway? I cut in. Even I am not certain, Sabrina answered. I can only say that I felt a tremendous burst of psychic energy. A dark power will soon arise. And you feel that's most likely where Jubei's SFs will go? Sarek asked. Sabrina nodded. Dark power? Night Slice wondered, staring at the ground, lost in thought. You know, there was this rumor back at my rocket base in Blackthorn about something being excavated nearby, Nala said, tapping her head. Any more details? I asked. Well, some workers from the excavation site sometimes came down, and that's how the rumors came about, she explained. I only heard something about a great discovery from ages past, but that's all. Let's go and see for ourselves, Night Slice said, giving a brief look over Hazuki. Sabrina, are you ready? I am, the psychic nodded. However, I won't be able to come with you. The strain of exerting my powers on a group this big would be far too exhausting. But what's going to happen to you after we're gone? I asked, concerned. Don't worry, I'll make it back to Saffron all right. I do have Pokemon, you know, she assured. It's you I'm worried about. We'll pull together somehow, Night Slice grinned. We always have, but with support from people like you. I wish you the best of luck, Sabrina spoke, raising her hands. Clear your minds and thoughts. Gather round and concentrate on me. Our group of humans and Pokemon did as she requested. Even as I closed my eyes, I felt what could be best described as a lifting feeling, like we were beginning to float. I tried my best to remain calm and not disrupt her. And all of a sudden, we were moving, really fast. Sorge's perspective. It was just here? I asked, staring up at the facility on top of the mountain. It was a rocket base at Mount Mortar, one that was still fairly new set up. Considering it was relatively close to the area of our previous encounter, it was no wonder the scouts had just found them in 3 hours. Yes, Allegard nodded, while staring up at the building. The visor of his helmet had built-in binoculars. Stormwind spotted the SFs lurking around the area. They might be trying to infiltrate the base. For what reason? Scantrix wondered. First they make enemies of their former employers, then they want to go charging into another enemy's headquarters? It doesn't make any sense. Not unless you're sure that something's in there that will assure you victory, Allegard concluded. A great power lurks within, Cindrea interrupted, stepping up beside us. Indeed, I was about to mention that I sensed it too, Allegard continued. It's odd that I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but for now we'll bide our time and see if the SFs make a move first. Oh, wait! Scratch that! Allegard tapped the side of his helmet, his comlink. Stormwind? Firefly? What is it? He asked. Not good, boss, Stormwind the Führer reported. They're here in the labs, and they're going to release the virus. The virus? Hey, where are you two anyway? I gave you strict orders to stay out of the facility. Bro, they've seen us! Firefly the Pidgeot yelled. Damn it! The comlink carried over the sounds of gunfire. Stormwind! Firefly! Allegard yelled. There was a loud screeching sound, and then the comlinks hissed and went dead. Allegard furiously smashed his pincers into a nearby tree, tearing it in two. I felt a pang of sadness as I realized what had happened. I mostly remembered the two birds as enemies that I'd encountered in the past. In my time with Allegard, I'd hardly even spoken to them. The virus, Scantrix muttered. The one for the chimeras, right? I asked. Not only for them, but practically all breeds of Pokemon as well. Scantrix repeated what Allegard had discovered from the data we'd retrieved in the previous mission. If they kill Team Rocket's Pokemon as well, it'll give them an advantage. However, their plan stated about spreading the virus through the air. Then we'd be in trouble, I muttered, even though that was an understatement. Certain rooms inside this facility have an auto-filtering system to protect it against such biocontainments, Scantrix informed us. We'll be able to approach the lab safely. However, what we need to worry about is the virus getting out into the air. I've already gotten absolutely everyone down for this one, Allegard grimaced, pushing the thoughts of his friends aside. The time for mourning would come later. All our troops. I turned towards him, not having expected such a drastic decision from the calm and calculated leader. You feel it, don't you? He continued. Judgment. It's time to stand or fall together. I nodded. Whatever it was, I had a job to do, and this one was saving possibly hundreds of Pokemon lives from a madman. Stick around me, okay? Scantrix whispered. I can look after myself, I retorted. You don't have to treat me like a little girl. Heh, same as always. He shook his head, smiling. Was it just me, or did he seem a little different? Allegard did have a private conversation with him earlier, but that was it. Hey, cut the chatter, you two, Allegard said sternly, interrupting my thoughts. We'll spring into action as soon as the troops are in position. Roger that, I growled. I felt the hunger growing in my beast side, the hunger for battle. Dracia's perspective. As I opened my eyes again, I found Serac standing over me, clutching the sword Nightslice had given to her. You all right? She asked. I simply gave a slight nod and stood up. Firestorm was back in his Charizard form. He and Nightslice were gathering with the rest of the group and pointing upwards. Only now I took note of my new surroundings. It was a mountainous dirt path with few trees around. A Lapras, Kyle, was waiting in the river that ran through the area towards the hill. At the top of the hill, where the others were pointing to, stood another huge facility. I snarled in anger, still unable to get the past scene out of my mind. Dracia? Serac touched my arm. It wasn't your fault. I guess my expression must have been easy enough to read. However, I turned away and remained silent. You think it'll work? I heard Firestorm asking. I don't know, Nightslice muttered. All I know is, I've got to get a vaccine for Hazuki's sake. Hey, don't go all out for me, Hazuki said. I have to, the Scyther shook his head. I'm not breaking this promise. All heads snapped up towards the sound. An explosion had blown out part of the facility's northern wall. It's as we thought, Jake growled. Jubei's group is trying to take over this rocket facility for their own use. Rocket facility? I must have said aloud because Serac responded. The others were watching the area before you came to, and they spotted a bunch of rocket agents around. Looks like they aren't too concerned with hiding it in an isolated place like this. Then we've got no time to waste, Nightslice growled. Let's get on with this! You have any course of action in mind? Firestorm asked him. Yeah, you take Jade, Dracia, Serac, Luminar, Urges, and go in the right direction. I'll take the others and go to the left. That's it? Riot the Aerodactyl muttered. Hey, I'm getting to that, the Scyther insisted. Storm, your group has the job to hunt down our nemesis and basically deal with the rockets and the SFs. If he has the antivirus, get it from him. My party will find the labs where he could have also stored some sort of vaccine. I'll get it if it's there. Sounds like a plan, Storm nodded. Oh, Kyle, you're staying out here, Nightslice added in. What? The Lapras protested. No way, Kyle, I need you to stay and look after Hazuki. She's in no condition to be charging into things. But... Now it was Hazuki's turn to protest. No buts, Nightslice growled. Besides, I don't think Kyle will have an easy time inside without any bodies of water around. Guess you have a point, Kyle reluctantly admitted. Okay, Dragon Riders, let's roar! Nightslice commanded. Everyone sprinted or flew towards their respective sides. I hesitated and stood silent for a while, before finally pushing myself to join them by spreading my wings and taking off. Dracia, Storm pulled back and hovered beside me. I have to tell you something. What? I growled, not at all in the talking mood. Dracia, I'm sorry for getting mad at you just then, the Charizard sputtered. I wasn't in a very good state of mind myself, and Don't bother apologizing. It's already over and done with, I cut in. Right now, I'm going to walk in there and kill the bastard myself, with or without anyone's help. I won't stop you, Dracia, he whispered, but I'm not going to lose you, too. You already have. I said that right to his face before flying ahead. I dashed past Serac, Luminar, Jade, and Urges on the ground and blew open the nearest wall with my Aeroblast. Inside, a pair of rockets spun around in surprise. Roaring, I attacked, smashing one into a wall and chalking another with Thunderbolt. The body of his electrocuted comrade had barely hit the floor before I was onto the man climbing to his feet. I grasped his neck with both hands and violently smashed his head and neck into the wall. The others stared, not only at me, but at the bloody mark on the wall. Are you coming or not? I demanded. Wait up! Serac was the only one who ran forward, pausing only to grab one of the dead guard's guns and clambered onto my back. Without enough space to fly, I took off running, but not waiting for anyone else to respond. You'll pay, murderer. Vengeance will be mine!